Welcome to Feeling Blue's presentation on homelessness in San Diego. When you think of a problem, you think, there's always something. There's something that you might mutter under your breath because you just don't know how to solve the problem that's in front of you head on. We took a moment to slow down and figure out how we wanted to take on homelessness in San Diego, and we did this through a couple different ways. First, we knew we had to analyze the problem to know what we were dealing with exactly. What main points of this problem did we want to focus on, and what points weren't as important or necessary for this project? After that, we brainstormed together and figured out a handful of solutions that could support homelessness in San Diego. After that, we tackled which one's the best, which one is really going to impact the community in a positive way, and which one do we want to create an implementation plan for. Once we figured that out, no, I'm not going to tell you yet. You're going to have to listen to the presentation first. We figured that we came up with a really good solution, and we were really proud of our work, and we learned a lot along the way. So get ready to listen to all of those parts of this assignment and hope you like it. First, Sam C., take it away with the analysis.
Thank you, Sarah. So, in order to solve the issue of homelessness in San Diego, first we have to identify why it's a problem in the first place. As of right now, San Diego is the fourth highest homeless population in the U.S., with 8,000 homeless living in San Diego County. These individuals depend on resources such as emergency shelters, safe havens, and transitional housing. The 5,000 homeless who do not use these resources are living in San Diego City unsheltered, in cars, or in tents. There are various reasons why an individual is homeless. They either can't afford high housing costs, they have mental illnesses or disabilities, they lack of support from loved ones, have addictions to drugs or alcohol, and so on. This crisis is not getting any better, therefore we must find solutions to reduce individuals from becoming homeless. Now Skylar will provide us with one of the many solutions we came up with.
Thanks, Sam. So as Sam said, there's a huge problem of homelessness in San Diego that we're trying to tackle. And to fully understand this issue, we believe that one has to fully understand the roots. And like she said, there's a lot of different causes for homelessness, such as poverty, mental illness issues, random job losses. The list can really go on forever. But what we decided to focus on for our first solution was that baseline of helping them with their mental health. According to a study done in 2015, at least 25% of the homeless population is severely mentally ill, whereas anywhere up to 45% of them could be diagnosed with any mental illness. We believe that by providing these people with free mental help will help them be able to believe in themselves and be able to move on to bigger and better things with their lives. We want to provide them with help in the streets where they are, in the shelters, in the long-term homes, or even through a free clinic. It creates a baseline where they can go anywhere from afterwards, and we would provide the free counseling with counselors who care and are dedicated to helping them. We'd also provide the necessities that they would need. For example, if they have a more serious issue and need any kind of medication, we would help them to get that. Up next is Ricardo telling us about the Housing Community Program.
Awesome, thank you, Skylar. Yeah, so solution number 2 was to focus more so around the community and the shelters themselves. So there's a couple different types of shelters. You have the emergency shelters, which are kind of like bunk beds, and then you have some more permanent living situations like transitional shelters or transitional housing, where the homeless can get services that they require. And then you have the final and a little bit less involved, the affordable housing, programs that the state does offer to help those who require less services but still need help finding housing in their price range. So for solution 2, we looked at getting the transitional housing and maybe some of the shelters as well in one big community where providers can be there and provide assistance for the community members, and then give the homeless kind of just a better quality of life, because you can manage it with less people, less staff, and then it's also not as divided and not all over the place where the homeless kind of feel out of place or maybe aren't welcomed as much as they would be in a isolated or a, I guess, more contained area where they can get the services that they require. When a homeless member is ready to move out of those communities, though, they always have the option to go for affordable housing where they'll get less services, they'll be less kind of observed, but they'll still be able to get that housing they need to get out of the tough situations they're in. And that was it for our solution number 2. Moving on to solution number 3 is Lily.
Thank you, Ricardo. So for our third solution, it's all about career training and employment pathways. Basically, this solution dealt with providing a stable career for these individuals. Little jobs here and there will not create a stable source of income for these individuals. So job training and placement would be a crucial part in this solution. This would therefore maintain house stability for these struggling individuals. And when in the employment companies and the homeless services come together and efficiently communicate, outside factors such as childcare, limited transportation sources, disability, maybe age gaps can be taken into consideration. That way the employers and the homeless services and homeless employees are all on the same page and can take a step forth to building a more stable and valued career path, therefore leading to a more stable and maintained house. That was the solution number 3 that we came up with, and now I'm going to give the mic over to Sam.
Thanks, Lily. While all of these solutions would be beneficial to ending homelessness in San Diego, it wasn't until after comparing the options that we decided to implement a free mental health clinic. So a few things that came to mind when we were trying to create a plan to implement a free mental health clinic. We need to make sure that it's cost efficient and successful, not just short term, but long term. So in order to do that, we need to have a solid staff that includes psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, as well as behavioral analysts, because mental illnesses range. There's a large range for mental illness. So in the clinic, we would have a screening process that would also assess and diagnose. So after they would be diagnosed, we'd also provide medication management, mental health counseling, as well as case management, again, to aid in the long-term success for these individuals. So how we would implement the free mental health clinic, there was 2 ways that we could. First, we could get or obtain our 501c3 status, which is essentially establishing our organization as a nonprofit. However, there was another cost-efficient way, and that would be to operate as a part of another health clinic. The reason why we chose that is because they already have an established community, as well as licensed and non-licensed healthcare professionals already working within that clinic. So it would also be cost efficient because there's other options such as like fundraising, grants, and donations that we can request. So going back into the potential cost of implementing this plan, it would cost about $300 to start. So it's pretty low. However, with other costs such as incorporation costs and registration costs, they add up pretty quickly. So it can be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, depending on how we implement with another health clinic. So if they're already well established, they may have the technology and the resources that we need. So it could be on the lower end. So now back to Sarah, who will conclude our presentation.
Thanks, Sam. So as you can see, homelessness in San Diego is a problem that needs a solution. As a group, we were able to analyze the problem, brainstorm potential solutions, and work together to figure out what was needed and which was our best solutions that we can create the implementation plan that Sam talked about. So in the end of the day, we decided that free mental health clinic was the best option because we thought it served our community and the homeless community specifically greatest. And anytime that you need a problem to solve, just slow down, see what the problem is, create a plan, and go from there. And that's Feeling Blue with Homelessness in San Diego.